winners of the last 11 Big 12 regular season championships, Debbie, but it is the dawn of a new day. Kim Mulkey is gone off to LSU. Nikki Collin, the first-year head coach. And perhaps for the first time in a while, the rest of the league feeling like, hey, we got a shot at this thing this year. And Iowa State right now in a tie for first place in the league. Beth Mowins alongside Debbie Antonelli with you today.
Hey, Beth, listen, Melissa Smith picks up that foul on an offensive rebound. That's the one player that cannot get in foul trouble for Baylor. She's the former Wade Trophy winner last year, an All-American candidate, and going against Ashley Jones, number 24 for Iowa State. 2 Player of the Year candidates in the Big 12. Also All-American candidacy on the line as well.
Jones and her sister Aubrey back in the lineup today. They missed the Texas loss midweek due to health and safety protocols. Aubrey will be coming off the bench this afternoon.
What we have are 2 top 15 teams. As you mentioned, standings. This is a deeper, tougher Big 12 conference race. It's going to require a win here today to stay on top.
Melissa Smith stretching the floor. Give her a 2 for that one.
She's not a three-point threat. She does like to expand her face-up game, but I think Bill Fenley, the head coach for Iowa State, will make her make a few before he adjusts.
And the double comes. Queen Egbo over to help out on Ashley Jones, who gets it blocked out of bounds.
And when that double comes, Queen Egbo is 6'3". Melissa Smith is listed as 6'4". That's a lot of size for Ashley Jones, who's listed at 6'1".
And Morgan Kane at 6'3", the tallest of the Cyclones on the floor. Around and out, Smith, one of the top rebounders in the country, gets the tip. And they'll run the floor. Egbo missed the lay-in. Iowa State will push and look for the transition threes a lot, Debbie.
That's what they're really good at, is spacing and spotting up. They run the floor hard and wide, and the issue is going to be staying on the glass with Baylor to be able to get into that transition game.
3 off the mark from Jordan Lewis, first year at Baylor after transferring in from Alabama as a grad student. One-on-one this time for Jones, and again it's snubbed by Queen Egbo. Lewis unattended and is fouled but can't knock it down.
Well, Ashley Jones is going to catch the ball on the block and try to use her quicks to go around, but Egbo, again with that length at 6'3", does a terrific job of defending inside, and they're going to make it tough on Ashley Jones. They're going to bring, we've already seen them bring 2. We know Egbo's capable in a one-on-one. Try to be physical with Ashley Jones, to try to wear her down if possible. I think she's one of the most durable players in college basketball, so it's hard to make her tired.
Egbo already with a couple of blocks as Lewis, after the miss, misses them both.
And having said that, Beth, you know, she is coming off of health and safety protocol, did not play in the last game, so let's see where her wind is.
We welcome our audience now on ESPN2 as Beatrice Jordow swoops in for the bucket, and the 2-2 score just underway here at the Farrell Center in Waco, Texas, on the banks of the Brazos River. Beth Mowins along with Debbie Antonelli, and our top 15 showdown. A lot on the line today, Debbie. You talk about Player of the Year in the conference. You talk about seeding. It's time of year to start keeping a closer eye on Charlie Creme's bracketology. Both these teams fighting to try and stay at home for the first and second rounds.
Well, right now, Charlie Creme has Iowa State at a 3 and Baylor at a 4. So this is a big Baylor to be able to protect their home court, win at home, be able to stay on that 4 line, because as you know in women's college basketball, top 16 seeds host.
Bill Fenley, one of the few folks that knows how to win in this house. In fact, Iowa State, the only team to beat Baylor in this building in the last 5 years. They're 73-1 here. And the Cyclones got them last season. Snapped a 60-game home winning streak. Of course, the coaching change from Kim Mulkey to Nikki Collin, the former WNBA Coach of the Year, coming over from the Atlanta Dream and taking over a Bears program that has won the last 11 Big 12 regular season championships. And Mulkey guided them to 3 national titles as Nikki takes over and running a little bit of a different offense, bringing the pro game here to Waco with her.
I mean, not always playing to or through the post, playing with a little bit more space, trying to keep it simple and trying to play with great rhythm. Maybe a few quicker shots in their offense.
They lost 3 key cogs from their Elite 8 team a year ago, but they still have 3 players on the roster that have a national championship ring from their freshman seasons.
Donarski doing a great job of getting that steal. A wide open look that time for Emily Ryan, and that's the thing that Iowa State does so well. They push and they skip, and that opens up space. It's hard to guard when they're hitting their threes.
0 for 4 from downtown. They average 10 per game. They are one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country, led by Ashley Jones. Meanwhile, Baylor very good inside under the direction of Melissa Smith, #1 in white, who is the reigning Wade Trophy winner as National Player of the Year. Here she is trying to defend on Jordao.
Beatrice.
Long arms from the right and the left.
Counters to the left. Really good post moves inside. A transfer from South Florida.
Teams a combined 2 of 17. We were hoping they got all those bad shots out while we were on ESPN News. Let's see if they can pick it up now that we're on the deuce. Looking for the corner 3, and it's good.
And you're going to have to hit some threes to open up the space inside for your post game if you're Baylor, because Iowa State's going to have a foot in the lane unless they're pressuring the ball.
21 and 24 are the ones to watch. An offensive foul here. 21 is Jamie Asbury, 24 Sarah Andrews. They're 3-ballers.
Jordan Lewis does a great job, who has terrific vision. Throws the drift on the baseline to the corner triple.
2 of the better passers in the game as well today, Debbie, with Jordan Lewis and Emily Ryan, the dueling point guards.
I think Jordan Lewis sees the floor really well. She's a transfer from Alabama. Was an all-SEC first-team guard.
Lewis will check out. Ryan will stay in the game for the Cyclones with 2 fouls.
Good job by Morgan Kane to close that space on Caitlin Bickle.
Shot clock winding down. Asbury puts it up and in.
Good D. Tough 2.
Ryan finds the open look. And they start out 0 for 5 from deep. That was Espen Miller-McGraw. Mid-range, Smith off the mark.
The challenge for Baylor, as good an offensive rebounding team as they are, do you get back and match up, or do you go to the glass? Because right now, Iowa State is 0 for 6 outside the three-point line, and they have taken great threes. They haven't made them. And if they start making them, that's trouble.
Well executed by the Bears. Jaden Owens with an easy land. Iowa State, without the Jones sisters midweek against Texas, shot just 28%. They only made 12 baskets the entire game.
That was their worst offensive performance of the season. But their post play is getting it done right now on the inside between Beatrice Jordao and Morgan Kane. Keeping Iowa State in it right now.
Yeah, that ended a 7-0 Baylor run. Bickle open for 3. Good box out by Iowa State.
Good D.
And then the takeaway.
Really good job up the floor by Jaden Owen to get a deflection from behind. Okay, did you see 3 red jerseys run to the ball? I mean, it's a telegraphed pass to the interior, and Iowa State's defense is built to protect inside out.
Kane working one-on-one and draws the foul.
You can't help off the low post entry because there's too many great three-point shooters. Wide open, nobody from Iowa State. Good finish inside by Owen.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Yeah, beautiful day on the banks of the Brazos here in Waco, Texas on this wee back pat Sunday afternoon. Three-time national champion Baylor with the lead over Iowa State 9-6. The Cyclones, the only team in the last 5 years to come into this house and go home with a win. And they're trying to do it again right now in a first-place tie in the Big 12 with Oklahoma, but the Sooners are on the ropes against Kansas State.
The Big 12 race is fantastic this year. You mentioned earlier, Baylor has won 11 consecutive regular season titles. Well, there's a different race now. Texas under Vic Schaefer, Jenny Baranchek, who has done a great job at Oklahoma early on. Jeff Mittie at Kansas State. And these two programs right here.
Yeah, what was Nikki telling us today at shoot-around? That Moki mystique is gone. You know, the teams think they have a chance when they come in here, and she's been stressing with her team, we gotta earn it. We gotta earn the respect back again and make this a difficult place to play. They're 7-0 here this year. And right now, speaking to the depth in the league, Debbie, there's the Charlie Cream projection. 6 teams getting in.
Look at Kansas at a 9 seed. They haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 2013. That's an impressive job right there. Kansas has a win over a couple of ranked teams in the Big 12 this year.
Oh, part of the growth, too, for this Baylor squad, right? They're used to ripping people. And so they've had to get used to playing in tight games, doing a little bit more nail-biting. They've lost a couple. They've come out on top in a couple of those.
Well, the challenging schedules in the non-conference are going to be rewarded in the NCAA tournament. That's how you're going to learn to advance. And as conference play gets better, the sharpness of the way you play has to get better, because in conference play, game shrinks, possession shrink. You know each other so well.
3-ball is good from Sarah Andrews. She hit 7 of those for a career-high 25 points in that Kansas game as they force another turnover here.
Well, nobody knows better than Bill Fenley in this league how to win here, Beth, since he, as you mentioned, he's the only one that's won in 5 years here. So you stick to the game plan, and you haven't made any threes, so you always know that you're going to. You know, the percentages are going to come your way, so you have to protect inside out and stick to your game plan and make Baylor continue to work.
Pickle off the bounce. Rebounds a miss. And so far, the ankle breaker there from Owens blocked out of bounds.
And let me say about Caitlin Bickle, a 10-pound lighter Caitlin Bickle. As you see Owen right here get a step, and Jordo doing a great job of making a defensive play to set their defense.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter of this top 15 showdown.
Run a little flex off the out of bounds.
Bickle no. Naimir Dew tracks down the rebound. There is no Emily Ryan, the point guard, on the floor right now. She's sitting with 2 fouls. And the Cyclones have yet to hit a 3. 0 for 6 to start out. They average 10 per game, and the offensive foul is going to be called on the ball screen.
Iowa State foul, number 25, Beatrice Jurel. Personal third team foul. Back into the game with the Cyclones, number 31, Morgan Kane.
Morgan Kane will check back into the ISU lineup. Yeah, 10.6 per game, 38%. That's top 20 in the country. Aubrey Jones, one of 3. Debbie, they're approaching 3 players with 53s on the season. Nobody's close to that.
Nobody has that. You got to play the percentages here. You just got to keep sticking to the game plan. Try to protect inside out. Try to get Ashley Jones going. There's a skip over the top. That's the way Iowa State plays. Inside, skip over the top. You really got to defend the three-point line and make them put it on the floor.
McGraw hits their first three. They are able to hang around despite the fact that Ashley Jones does not have a basket yet.
See, nobody going to the glass for Baylor. They are electing to get back in their transition defense. See, the lid is off.
To beat the buzzer and to grab the lead through one.
They hit a three. Ashley Jones from the top in transition drives Smith back and sticks.
Organizations that advance research for treatment and a cure for Alzheimer's disease.
Coming off the timeout, Baylor has definitely picked up their defensive energy in this possession. Iowa State is really good at getting to the free throw line, yet they really haven't gotten there yet. Only 1 for 2.
A couple of late threes at the end of the quarter for Iowa State got them the lead, and that gets knocked out of bounds. It'll stay at this end with 6 on the shot clock. And we can start to work in how proud Coach Summit would have been to be able to watch what Kelly Jolly's been doing right now at Tennessee. And boy, they got a shot at an SEC championship, a shot at a #1 seed, and to start to make a little noise again in the postseason.
They're back in the conversation, right? Yeah. And they hadn't been in the conversation really at the highest level for a while, and now they're back. And they are, right now, Charlie Cream has them on the 2 line.
Dawn spoke so well, though, about the influence that Pat had and how she was so helpful to so many coaches along the way. The pick and the roll. Tough shooting afternoon so far for Baylor, as Egbo will get a trip to the free throw line. But you had a lot of chance to spend a lot of time around Coach Summit.
I love spending time with Coach Summit.
I wish more of it would have rubbed off on you, Debbie, but that's a story for another day.
Hey, one day sitting next to, Hey, listen, you know what about Pat Summit? She literally gave me the shirt off her back. I dropped her name on a Kentucky State trooper, and it got me out of a ticket. And I was with her when she got her hole-in-one. Watched her get a hole-in-one on the golf course. And those are the only stories I can tell right now. Can't tell the rest of them. Those come later.
The others need a beverage or two accompanying them.
So fun, so accommodating.
Without a microphone.
Such great celebration of our game. And I really enjoyed watching film with her. That was probably on the top of my list.
Such an impact on so many people on and off the court. Kane kept the drive alive in the corner, and then a held ball, and it will go to Baylor.
Yeah, Nikki Collin coming out of the timeout told her team to get after it defensively. Now you see them choppy steps on a closeout, high hands, really communicating their actions defensively. And that's the kind of energy and effort you need to play with all the time.
We've only seen starter Ashley Jones for a minute so far in this first half, and no Emily Ryan right now. She's out with 2 fouls. Egbo faces. Goes to work. Melissa Smith, big rebound. It's blocked inside. And this one will go to Iowa State.
Tell you what, tremendous defensive effort inside by Beatrice Jordo. Stands up Queen Egbo. And then look how much Melissa Smith can offensive rebound, right? She comes from nowhere and gets in between 2 Iowa State players and just elevates.
The 2 studs have been quiet offensively thus far with Smith and Ashley Jones. Others are trying to pick up the slack a little bit.
Well, they're going head to head also. Ashley Jones inside trying to stuff that post up by Smith.
There it is, and Smith takes advantage and scores.
Yeah, she gets deep position, 2 feet in the paint. Ashley Jones is not going to foul there. As a matter of fact, Iowa State is 4th in the nation in personal fouls. They only average 12 a game.
Donarski is hearing it from the students. An air ball and then clanked a brick there. Hey, we got a big Monday doubleheader coming up on ESPN. Louisville and Virginia at 7 o'clock from the ACC. And then to Big 12 country at 9, Kansas and Texas Tech from the Fog. Both games are on ESPN and also on your app. Either side shooting lights out thus far. The defenses have ruled the day. Smith trying to heat up a little bit. Egbo offensive rebound. And banks it in.
That is a tough bucket. Yeah, you can flex on that one, Egbo. That's a weight room basket.
4 second chance points in the last 2 minutes for Baylor. They didn't have any in that first quarter, Debbie. Jordow with a counter.
Jordow's got size. She's got skill around the rim. And she buries Baylor in the net.
She's got 6, the grad transfer from South Florida. Lewis hits the 3.
Yeah, definitely inside Jordan Lewis's game is her vision up the floor, her ability to knock down threes.
It's been rolling the ground. It's into the lane. Egbo with her 3rd block of the half, and the quick outlet to Smith. 2 on 2. She'll step through and hit.
Baylor stays home on penetration to the paint. You can't help off a three-point shooter. They've done a terrific job here in the second quarter, D'ing up to change the energy in the building. Everybody stays home on the strong side. Nobody digs in to help. It allows Baylor to get a stop, and Smith can do this.
Wow.
Is she going to get to 60, Rebecca? I mean, that's incredible. Well, she's a big body at 6'6", Aoka Lee. I mean, she had 38 or 39 on Iowa State.
Another block for Baylor. Smith got that one. Big turnaround here in this second quarter, and a 14-2 Baylor run.
It all started with their defensive energy and the way they have guarded. High hands on the close out, communicating their actions, and Ashley Jones just can't get going until now. She's going to go to the free throw line. She has 1 triple. She's 1 for 7.
The 2,000-point scorer, averaging 20 a game this year. Try and find the bottom of the net here at the line. How about a Super Tuesday doubleheader coming your way on ESPN? First at 7 Eastern, Big Ten, Michigan State, Illinois. Then at 9 to the SEC in Rupp Arena, Kentucky and Mississippi State. Both games on ESPN and your ESPN app.
Hopefully Ty Washington isn't out for an extended amount of time for Kentucky. That was a heck of a game down there at Auburn last night with Bruce Pearl. How about Bruce Pearl and Auburn? Jabari Smith, have you seen him play yet?
They're going to number 1, right?
Oh, yeah, they got to be.
Probably.
They're so good.
First time in school history. Melissa Smith, good.
Now,
they are humming along here in the second quarter.
Smith does that consistently. You're going to get Mike Tebow's attention at Washington, the #1 pick in the WNBA draft.
Who else besides Melissa is in contention for that?
Well, I think Ryan Howard is somebody that people talk about at the top. I also like Elisa Cunane, who I think's draft stock at NC State continues to go up. Here's a couple of players in the Big 12. We mentioned Jones and Smith playing for Player of the Year. How about Aoka Lee? Rebecca talking about 51 in the start of the fourth quarter. Taylor Robertson is the best three-point shooter in the history of Big 12 basketball.
Something.
Since that's Lori Kane's record that she beat. Lori Kane, the great from Kansas State, who's on Tammy Etheridge's staff at Washington State.
She could still stay a year too, right? I think she's got a year if she wants to come back.
You know what, Beth? I think she should stay. I think it'd help her in other parts of her game. She's a heck of a shooter, though.
Trying to force it inside. The steal for Jordan Lewis, going coast to coast.
Really good anticipation. I mean, that's just a great play by Jordan Lewis to get off the contact, to hollow out and get around and make that steal.
7 fast break points in the quarter. They've also been getting on the offensive glass, and they are tearing it up 18-4 in this second quarter over Iowa State. After the Cyclones had the lead through 1, there's another steal. Egbo got a hand on it. Andrews couldn't put it away, and here comes Ashley Jones. Smith got caught going under the screen.
Yeah, and that's a WNBA skill right there for Ashley Jones, to be able to pull up behind that screen and shoot it. There's not many players in college basketball that actually can do that. You go under, and she's going to make you pay.
Her second triple makes it a 10-point game.
Now, if Iowa State can get 2 or 3 stops in a row, their ability to shoot the 3 always keeps them in games.
Lewis taking advantage of the space. Jordan, the first to double figures.
Not a lot of people talked about Jordan Lewis out of the transfer portal, but if you had watched her play at Alabama, you knew she had 3-level scoring skill. Again, behind the screen. See? Now you got to get stops. But Jordan Lewis, she answers the 3 W's, Beth. Who to get the ball to, when, and where. Nikki Collin trusts her with the ball in her hands.
Her counterpart, Emily Ryan, drilled the 3 at the other end for ISU. Smith.
Clear out, isolation.
Lewis.
Might as well. Go ahead, Jordan Lewis. Shoot till your arm falls off.
13 in the first half for Lewis. Got a whistle off the ball.
Watch Jordan Lewis right here. Queen Egbo, tremendous hustle for that offensive rebound. And Jordan Lewis seeing a big basket right now.
On the stat sheet, you don't worry about her three-point shooting, but today it's been a different story. She's 3 of 4. And that's the second foul now on Melissa Smith for Baylor. She departs. Benarski. Another pass tipped.
See, Baylor's defense tips, steals, speeding up. Iowa State, they are not comfortable on the offensive end.
Floater won't drop. Offensive rebound, Izzy Zingaro. Ryan able to create offensive rebound. And the stick back's good by Duke.
Iowa State showing some zone.
Lewis, nice feed, Bickle. A minute and a half to go in the first half.
All Nikki Collins' team does just screens the top of the zone, and it's wide open to the middle. Nikki calls it the tunnel. I call it the shoot. It's that middle third of the floor.
Another takeaway.
Pat Summitt called it Main Street.
Oh, Lewis passed on that chance. Egbo wants the ball, as you may have heard. Did not get it there. Bickle unattended. Queen says, you don't want to pass it to me, I'll fight for the rebound and draw the foul.
Queen Egbo is a long offensive rebounder on the weak side. I mean, she doesn't have position, yet she can rebound out of her area. And I think we're going to have to take a look at this one because there was contact above the shoulders.
The play's on a review for unnecessary contact after the whistle.
Well, I don't think this will take long because I don't think there was much there.
Here's Mai Forsberg with Brian Hall, Scott Yarborough today, and it's going to be on the follow-through, swatting the ball out of bounds.
That's a play on the ball, nothing egregious or unnecessary or excessive.
She actually does get a piece of the ball
Yeah, this won't take long. We should move on quickly on this one.
Four points, 3 assists, and already 12 rebounds in the first half for Queen Egbo.
Well, she got presented a ball before the game for point number 1,000.
19 points, 8 rebounds in the Oklahoma State win midweek.
So following the review, we are assessing Baylor number 4 with an intentional foul for necessary contact to the face.
She's getting an intentional foul for contact to the face?
Yes, she is. I mean, it certainly looked, Debbie, it looked like it was a legitimate attempt because she hit the ball.
I didn't think it was excessive. I thought it was a play on a rebound.
Okay. Officials decided otherwise.
Here's the defense about Baylor that I'm loving right now. Watch this ball screen, and you got 3-point shooters outside the arc. So the ball screen comes, and then Baylor stays home on their defensive effort. It doesn't help to the penetration. They stay with the 3-point shooters, and that allows them to get an easy bucket on the other end because it's in Alyssa Smith's hands.
So that will be a personal foul assessed to Egbo. So now she and Alyssa Smith have 2.
So it's 2 free throws. Anybody can shoot it. That's why Emily Ryan is on the free throw line. And it counts as a team foul as well, Beth.
Yep, 83% for Ryan at the line. She'll get a pair. Baylor defense has been so good here at home. A different story on the road. Egbo with rebound number 13 here in the first half.
Bickles telling Jordan Lewis, come here for the step up right here. She was communicating that up the floor. See, that's Caitlin Bickles' IQ right there. She told Jordan Lewis up the floor, come my way, I got you right here. And that's what she did. She set a step-up screen, she popped, she had a matchup, she knew she could take off the bounce. That's experience.
Senior out of Cove Creek, Arizona, a member of their national championship side as a freshman. Really ensconced here at Baylor, maybe back next year. Loves this
she's
community.
Coming back.
Yeah,
she's definitely coming back. I asked her before the game. She said absolutely. This is Caitlin Bickles' passion, is volunteering at a local shelter. And this week, she found this stray dog, took it to the shelter, named it Bear, and told us before the game that Bear has already been adopted. Isn't that terrific?
Bickle and Bear. 12-point Baylor lead. Final 30 seconds of the first half. Foul on the shot. Good find weak side by Emily Ryan, and that will get Morgan Kane to the line, an 82% free throw shooter.
Yeah, this Iowa State team is second in the nation in free throw percentage at 81 as a team.
They've been down by as many as 13. They survived a big Baylor run in that first half. They haven't gotten much scoring from Ashley Jones. They're trying to get this back into single digits before the break. And now Baylor may just choose to hold for one here.
Nice in that ball screen on the top of the floor.
Lewis was determined to go right, finds Egbo. Queen couldn't hang on to the pass. And 1.1 second for Iowa State.
That's a heck of a play right there, and that's a good one-hitter, right? I mean, Nikki Collins got a bag full of plays from her WNBA experience.
Pass is incomplete. Baylor with the lead at the break. Now let's get you back to the studio with Kelsey Riggs and Rebecca Lobo. Oklahoma's lost to K-State today, and Baylor at 2-2, trying to tighten this race up. They have won the last 11 consecutive Big 12 regular season crowns. They have lost just once here at home in 5 years, and that was to Iowa State a year ago.
So Iowa State putting some sort of zone defense on the floor. And you know what? If you followed the career of Bill Finley and his great success at Iowa State in his 27 years there, you know I've called him Blueprint Bill before, because he will give you a blueprint for how to play in the Big 12 against opponents. So you might see the ball on the right side of the floor and they're in man, and on the left side of the floor they're in zone. And they play personnel so well because their IQ is outstanding. And it results in a turnover here for the first possession.
19 trips to the NCAA tournament. He's the 4th longest tenured coach in Power 5. And he needs to get Ashley Jones going in the second half. Ashley was held to just 2 of 9 shooting. She had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. She was doing some other things for them.
Well, I think Ashley's terrific with the ball in her hands, but when you're going against Alyssa Smith, because you got to deal with that length all game, run Smith off some screening action and make her have to defend that.
Good off the bounce and off the glass for Lexi Donarski, her first basket of the day.
And for Baylor, when you're playing Iowa State, you got to make them make plays with moving their feet. You can't let them catch and shoot. You can't let them get a piece of the paint and skip. And you got to make sure you get back in transition, which I think Baylor has done very well tonight.
Good swing to the three-point shooter Andrews, who doesn't touch anything with that shot. They get it back down into single digits.
Look, this game isn't, I mean, this is far from over. I mean, this is going to be a punch-counter-punch situation. You know that Iowa State's got a run coming. And you know Baylor's got another one as well.
Stepping behind for 3, just short. Egbo gets another rebound, or 50.
Just, I mean, total domination on the glass. Iowa State as a team only has 17 rebounds.
Egbo off the dribble, and it trickles in and one.
Back to the basket, power on power right here. I mean, it is an aggressive, physical. Queen Egbo knows her role. She's the counter on the scout to Melissa Smith to get to the glass, and she's done that very well today.
6'3" senior out of Houston. She was the Big 12 6th Man of the Year a couple of years ago in the COVID-shortened campaign, and has continued to improve and impress in the starting lineup.
She's long, she's active, brings great energy. She's in the back row clapping right now, talking through their actions. That's what you want to see.
Just drew the 3rd personal on Jordow, who checks out of the lineup. We have not seen much of Aubrey Jones today. Played just a minute in that first half. And a foul will be called on Jaden Owens.
Another wide open look for Iowa State that they can't knock down. 4 for 16, shooting 25% from the three-point line.
Wide open on the inbound, and the easy lay-in for Kane.
You got to be batting 1,000 in your situational offense here in the second half, because when you get a chance to really execute against Baylor's defense, especially to play like that, you got to get points on the board.
Well done on the out-of-bounds play. And then they give up the 3. Jaden Owens, just a 15% shooter from downtown. And her 4th triple of the year right there.
There's a skip, but Owens closes out and makes Emily Ryan put it on the deck. I love that the window's open. Twice in this quarter.
3rd in the country in assists, and in the last month or so, Debbie, she has started to develop as a scoring threat as well.
No, I think she's got great command for Iowa State's offense. I think Bill Finley completely trusts her. She's gotten smarter as the season's gone on. I watched this Iowa State team in November play in the Gulf Coast Showcase and win the championship. And they have gotten better each step of the way.
45-34 Baylor. And we've got a good showdown here, big one, Baylor and Iowa State. Iowa State right now alone in first, but a lot of folks within striking distance, including these Baylor Bears. They will, of course, meet again later in the regular season, I believe, to end the regular season. But it's really a critical juncture, Debbie, for Iowa State. They got off to the best start in school history. It may be one of Bill Fennelly's best teams ever. But then the Jones sisters missed the last game. We've seen Ashley return today. Not a whole lot of Aubrey, only a few minutes. And whether or not that will put a big damper on their quest to win the Big 12 for the first time since 2000, when they shared the regular season crown with Oklahoma and Texas Tech, and also how the selection committee will look at the COVID situation for so many teams this year when players miss games.
Well, it's a big discussion, right? I mean, it has to take place because most teams have had some sort of delay or stoppage, postponement, as Ashley Jones knocks down a triple. So how the committee is going to determine the health and safety protocols of COVID and players missing, we don't know yet. They haven't decided. I know they're discussing it. And there hasn't been a change in the minimum number of games that a team needs to play to be qualified for the NCAA tournament,
which is still 25. And another triple for Jordan Lewis. Of course, it's been all the talk back in Ames.
Well, this is a top 10 team, right? And they're coming off a loss to Texas, who's another ranked team in the Big 12. Vic Schaefer's done an outstanding job in his second year. Took him to the Elite Eight last year. And Jordan Lewis again. She got to lose her arm again here in the second half. Shoot till your arm falls off, Jordan Lewis.
She's got 19.
5 triples.
29% shooter prior to this afternoon from downtown. The kick out for 3, short. Egbo adds to her career high with her 18th rebound in 24 minutes. And they are lighting up the scoreboard now. Fennelly wants a timeout. A dose of their own medicine they're getting right now from Baylor. Dropping them from downtown.
9 triples in the game. A 9-0 run by Baylor, forcing another Iowa State timeout.
Is about to get even louder.
Look at this. This is the best of the best.
This is best of all time territory. Number 12 Kentucky, number 7 Kansas. Saturday at 6 on ESPN.
Got some good basketball coming your way. Debbie and I will be out on the West Coast next Sunday, right, Debbie, for a rematch of the national championship game next Sunday afternoon for you with Stanford and Arizona.
Don't make me have to arm wrestle you for my Tara Vanderveer bobblehead, because we're only going to get one between the two of us.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, well, I'm going to make sure I get one. I don't know about you.
I'm going to get one. I've already seen it. It's like in the back of a convertible for their national championship parade. Arizona a winner this afternoon. That should be a fun one. Stanford right now on Charlie Crean's bracketology top line is a 1 seed. So is South Carolina. NC State, that big win this week over Louisville.
Huge win for the Wolfpack.
And Tennessee with a big win over Georgia today.
Actually, NC State is number 1 in the net. South Carolina is number 2.
I think Carolina gets the nod, though, right? For the head-to-head win, probably in the committee room.
Well, they're 7-0 in quad 1 wins. They have the most quad 1 wins. NC State and Stanford are both 5-2. They have the second most games that they've played in quad 1. And that's the way the net is going right now. NC State, South Carolina, Stanford.
I'll tell you what else is going to be really intriguing this year is the host bubble. Remember, in women's hoops, the top 16 seeds host first and second rounds. And then the regionals are in neutral sites as they drill another triple. They're raining them down on Iowa State. But look at the teams, Debbie, that may not play home games in the postseason. With UConn right at the top of that list, they have always been at home first and second round since the field expanded in 1994.
I think you would call this parity.
Yeah.
And the way Baylor's played today, they're passing the eye test, that's for sure.
They may be moving up the charts. A blocking foul called on the Melissa Smith drive.
Well, one of the things that Charlie Cream told us this morning when we spoke to Charlie before the game was neither team would have their seed affected based on the outcome of these two teams, right? Iowa State's on the 3 line, Baylor's on the 4 line. He didn't anticipate anything changing regardless of the outcome.
Melissa Smith trying to get to double digits. What do you like about this potential #1 pick?
I like a lot about Melissa Smith. She's a full court finisher. We've seen that. She's a rim runner. We've seen that. And her face-up game has been terrific today as well. If Baylor plays the kind of defense that we've seen them play in a lockdown, starting with the second quarter, and then they knock down threes the way they've done it with their ability to rebound. Okay, now you got pieces that you're talking about a second weekend team in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Well, you know, she's picked up a thing or two from Coach Mulkey, and now with the new offense this year, with the WNBA-friendly offense this year from Nikki Collins, she's picking up a few more things, isn't she?
Well, you're talking about Melissa Smith. Absolutely. Yes. I mean, Melissa plays hard. Nikki understands what it takes. She can put her team and develop her players with a lens, with a WNBA in mind. That's part of the reason why Jordan Lewis came here. Jordan Lewis came here to play for Kim Mulkey, but when Nikki Collins got the job, she stayed.
Well, and of course, it's not the easiest shadow to walk into.
No.
As successful as Coach Mulkey was here, Nikki has really embraced everything about Baylor, has embraced the success, has really urged her team, hey, we got to earn it every year, no matter who else is on the sideline or who's on the court, and the players have really embraced that as well.
Yeah, there's no question. There's an incredible respect from Nikki Collins to Kim Mulkey. She shared some of that with us this morning.
Yep.
But, you know, look, Kim Mulkey, I mean, 3 national championships and then takes another job. That's, in the history of our game, that has never happened. LSU made an investment, and they're reaping the benefits of it as well.
Big Monday double dip coming your way. Louisville and Virginia starts at 7 Eastern, and then it's Kansas, Texas Tech from Allen Fieldhouse. Both games on ESPN and also on the ESPN app.
Never easy going into Allen Fieldhouse against the Jayhawk guys, that's for sure. And the women have made it a tough place this year as well.
Melissa Smith, and one.
I'll tell you what, Nikki Collins got the same kind of energy over there on the sideline that Kim Mulkey had. That looks the same.
It's a 16-0 run. Smith, the latest in a long line of quality frontliners. Of course, Brittany Griner immediately comes to mind. Kalani Brown and Lauren Cox from their championship team. How about Sophia Young, who's right next door to us, calling Baylor radio today. There she is, down that way.
She came over and visited with us before the game. Yeah, what a great personality. What a great ambassador for Baylor and for women's basketball.
She and Stephanie Blackman on that 2005 team. Enjoying her time. She's still part of player development here, right?
Yeah, she works on Nikki Collins' staff.
Gonna get a foul on the inbound. Baylor just crushing it out of the locker room here in the third. 62-37 now, they've opened it up. They've hit 10 threes in a 23-9 run here in the third. Donarski for 3. That won't go. And one of the best shooting teams in the country is now 5 of 22 from deep. Smith pull up, everything going down for the Bears.
Highly motivated, talented Baylor team on display today. Wow.
That's going to be a walk. You may have heard one of the Baylor fans screaming that out to help the officials a little bit.
We love the fans here. I mean, we got cookies delivered to us at halftime.
Yes.
I ate mine. It's
Well,
delicious.
There's a couple more on press row. I've got my eye on here.
I'm
if
not
they
eating
don't
those.
hurry up.
I've never had anybody bring us cookies during the game. It was nice.
Snickerdoodles
What do you
for
think
those
we're-
of you scoring at home.
What do you think we're going to get when we go out to Stanford?
Let's set the bar high. Let's let them know that we're coming. Here's something else you're going to like, Debbie. How about 23 baskets today for Baylor? They've assisted on 19 of them.
You know, I love that number. They assist on 61% on the season, which is a very high number.
That's higher.
You know what? That is higher. And you know what I love about that number? Here's the correlation here, which makes them dangerous. They move the ball and pass it like that. They're also offensive rebounding, 36% of their misses on the season. Those two numbers go together. You're taking shots that are inside your system and you're able to get to the glass.
How about 82% assisted field goals here in the first half, or in the game today?
Well, Nikki Collins, a point guard. She sees the game through that lens. I know her husband Tom and her kids at home in Atlanta watching.
Yep.
Pulling for the Baylor Bears. You know, the one thing about Ashley Jones is whatever the scoreboard is, she's not looking up there looking at the score. She's playing the next play. That's one of the things that I really respect about her game. Tough, durable, hardworking.
She looks up to only 2 scorers in Iowa State history, Angie Welly and Bridget Carlton, and in all likelihood by the end of the season she will be looking up to neither and will presumptively take over the top spot all time.
Bridget Carlton having a very successful and long WNBA career.
Smith rattles it in.
Come on, Alyssa Smith. How about that face-up game today? 7 for 13 from the floor. 17 points, 5 rebounds and an assist in 27 minutes of play for the Wade Trophy winner last year in women's college basketball.
Trying to become just the 6th player ever to win the Wade twice. Most recently it was Sabrina Ionescu. Only one player in history, Debbie, has won the Wade 3 times.
Brianna Stewart,
No.
3 times.
Yeah.
Nobody's won it 3 times.
Brianna won it twice. Simone Augustus won it twice.
Twice, yeah.
Nancy Lieberman won it twice.
Maya Moore 3 times.
3 times. This is what the crowd was all in an uproar about. Feet got tangled in a trip.
You know, when you start talking about the Wade Trophy,
Yes, do tell.
and I think about those 2-time winners, 3-time winners that you mentioned, I always look at Alyssa Smith's game and I think about Simone Augustus, the great at LSU, because Simone Augustus won the Wade Trophy twice, but in her career, she didn't make a lot of threes, right? So in her career, she made 33 threes in her 4-year career, and so Alyssa Smith doesn't make a lot of threes.
Stick around, by the way. We're gonna, Margaret Wade was a legendary coach back in the day. Before the NCAA, the women played in something called the AIAW, and we are going to talk about legends of the AIAW days in honor of the late Lucy Harris, who passed this week. One of the all-time greats in women's basketball history at Delta State and a winner of 3 national titles for Coach Wade. More to come in the fourth quarter. That's what we call a tease.
ISO ball.
Egbo from Bickle, no. Kaylin coming back onto the court to grab it.
Look at her get back in the play.
Donarski, shot clock's off.
Got to go here with 9.
Looking at Ashley Jones, and now they're in a time crunch here. Donarski.
Too slow developing. They're going to get a foul off the ball. That's free throws for Iowa State.
With 0.4 of a second on Owens.
Well, that couldn't have worked out any better for Iowa State.
Yeah, and they get Ashley Jones the ball.
Ashley Jones with 2 shots.
13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists for Ashley on 3 of 13 shooting. But now 5 of 5 at the stripe. That'll do it for the third. All Baylor Bears, 66-43. Hey, as promised, some of the AIAW legends, starting with the late Lucy Harris, who passed away this week. These were stars, folks, back in the 1970s and the beginning of the Olympics for women's basketball. Ann Myers, one of the all-time greats at UCLA. These are all national champions as well, by the way. Lady Magic, Nancy Lieberman off the streets of New York. Pam Kelly, one of the greats at Louisiana Tech. And a 2-time champ. Teresa Shank, 3-time champ at Immaculata, and then started coaching at Rutgers. And with the Coyle sisters, they won the last AIAW title in 1982.
Patty and Mary
Yes.
Coyle. You get a Patty and Mary Coyle reference in. You're digging deep into the books, dusting off a few records.
Some of the legends and national champs. And you look into some of the other greats of that era, like Carol Blaze-Jowski and the coaches back then, Kathy Rush, Sonja Hogue.
We saw Sonja Hogue here
Billy
at halftime.
Moore, yeah.
You know what?
Lucy Harris scored the first Olympic basket for Billy Moore. 1976 in Montreal.
Jody Conrad, the former head coach at Texas and the Naismith Hall of Fame, once told me that Carol Blaze-Jowski was the best shooter she ever saw.
Oh. Coach Conrad, the national champ, the first to guide an undefeated team to the title.
I can't imagine Baylor playing any better on the offensive end than what they've played today. Based on everything that I've watched and witnessed on film and preparing for this game, all 3 levels, they're getting the shots they want. They're playing like a team, sharing the basketball. They're moving without the ball.
Debbie, they've shot close to 60% in the last 2 quarters as they have busted this thing open. Meanwhile, on the defensive end, it's been almost 8 minutes without a basket, and finally Iowa State breaks the drought.
What a tough 2 to score over Queen Egbo, but I'll tell you what, Jordow has done a fantastic job today. The 5s have performed for Bill Finley. The center position, they're getting some stuff out of their 5s, but the rest of the team has really struggled today.
Queen Egbo, look at that, 18 rebounds, a new career high for her as she approaches another double-double.
This is just a great pick and roll. Classic. Right down the lane line. Bucket.
By the way, while we're talking about some old-timers, how about one of our favorite old-timers, Joe Ciampi today, the Auburn women's basketball legendary coach, guided the team to 3 Final Fours. They're raising his banner up into the rafters down on the plains.
Can't wait to celebrate with you, Joe.
8 SEC titles. He's a women's basketball Hall of Famer.
You know what? I learned a lot from Joe about basketball, matchup zone. He was so fantastic teaching. But you know what we really learned from him on the golf course? Aiming fluid. That's his true legacy.
That's the key to the game right there. Congratulations to Coach Ciampi. Bickle takes the charge. Hey, speaking of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, the nominees for this year's class were announced this week, led by Becky Hammond, Delisha Milton-Jones, who starred at the University of Florida and won the weight, and then Penny Taylor, a WNBA champion. Look at that, Debbie Antonelli. 34 years in the biz. Two-time Emmy winner. What's Vegas saying about the odds that Antonelli makes it on the first ballot?
Probably not good.
Congratulations, Debbie.
Thank you, Beth.
It's been an honor to be able to work with you for 4 of those 34 years. You're a lot older than I am. But sure, thanks. Thanks for all that you've done for the game in all seriousness.
Thank you.
Nobody has cared more or been more passionate about it or probably worked more games. Have you ever stepped back to...
Oh, gosh.
Has your husband ever let you count the number of times you've been away?
You know, somebody once asked me, how many nights a week are you gone during the college season? And I always say, I don't know. I never wanted to count up how many, because you know what? Then I would lose Mother of the Year. I can't lose Mother of the Year.
Yes. St. Frank and the boys, hopefully they'll be able to celebrate with you.
Tell you what,
that's announced on our air, by the way, right? Mid-February, about a month's time.
You know,
we'll keep you posted, folks.
Carol Stiff, our great colleague,
got in last year.
President of the board and was supposed to notify people if they were finalists, but I didn't get notified, so
I'm sure
I got surprised.
I'm sure it was just an oversight.
I think she was trying to surprise me. Our colleagues at ESPN were surprising me, which it was a surprise.
Becky Hammond, of course, by the way, coming back to the WNBA. Vanessa Nygaard also.
Another clinician that we've worked many Nike clinics with. Excited for her. And then, you know what?
She's at Phoenix.
Caitlin Bickle scores on the block, but I'll tell you something else I'm looking forward to. Is Stewie really considering?
Back to New York.
She should. I totally would go.
Bright lights of
You got
Brooklyn.
to.
Yeah.
Get back home.
She's a native New Yorker.
Candace Parker went home, and she won a championship.
Yes, she did. Offensive foul. That's the second Bickle charge of the game. You know what we've seen today, Debbie? What Nikki Collin talked about. The key for the second half of the season will be their champs. Players like Bickle and Smith and Egbo, and we've seen the leadership, we've seen the enthusiasm and the passion here today from those veterans. Oh, nice hesitation from the new gal in town, Jordan Lewis. They are carving him up right now.
You know, you're absolutely right, Beth. Nikki Collin talked about those veteran players have had nothing but success. All they know is winning Big 12 championships. Now their role has changed, and now they've got to be the ones that lead. They've certainly done that this afternoon.
Third charge, I think, of this quarter. How about that Lewis bucket? Watch the little hezzy here.
I mean, I'm telling you, Jordan Lewis has got a big-time game. She's strong, she's compact, she's tight with her handle. She's shown us 3 levels today in scoring. He's had a terrific floor game.
Yep. Not just the speed, right? Change of pace, change of direction. All valuable skills to have in your kit. Soccer term.
Well, the kids say the bag. So, what you got in your bag?
I'm still in the glow of Chelsea's win over Tottenham earlier today, so my apologies. Pull up, mid-range, no, from Melissa Smith. Let's take a look on the other side for Iowa State. And, you know, you knew it was going to be a tough week playing Texas and Baylor. You were hoping that you would be competitive and really show signs that you were in the hunt for the Big 12 championship. Obviously, they'll see these guys again. But what does Bill Fennelly have to do to make sure this does not derail them for the second half of the season?
Well, you do worry about your team's confidence, right? And they're a top 10 team. They've been a top 10 team all season. They've earned their way into the rankings. Now they're going to slip a little bit, maybe outside of the top 10, losing 2 games in a row, depending on what else happens. However, Hilton Magic can solve a lot of issues.
They got a Super Tuesday coming your way. Michigan State, Illinois on Tuesday night. Starts at 7 on ESPN. And then it's Kentucky, Mississippi State to follow at 9 o'clock on ESPN.
I mean, why not?
She is the third different Baylor Bear with a 6 3-pointer game this year.
I mean, she's going to put this giant number on the board tonight. And Aoka Lee is going to have 61 and be the Big 12 Player of the Week. Look at this line by Jordan Lewis. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. And you know what? When the WNBA scouts are calling me, I'm going to ask them how Jordan Lewis sits in their sights.
Okay. So the scouts better start calling. 4:40 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. How about the day, Debbie, for Jordan Lewis on 9 of 11 shooting with 6 triples?
I mean, come on now. Jordan Lewis makes it look easy. Did she even break a sweat today? She has been terrific all 3 levels. But once she got the hot hand, Baylor ran stuff for her. And that's the sign of a veteran, mature offense that continues to evolve as we get closer to February. And that's when you start really tightening things up.
She only made 20 in the first 16 games and shot at just 29% from downtown. So if she can add this to her script.
Well, if you watched her at Alabama, you knew what she was capable of. And I asked her before the game, you know, playing with Alyssa Smith versus playing with Jasmine Walker at Alabama. Jasmine Walker was drafted in the WNBA. And she's like, the space changes, the athleticism changes. It's like playing with a real low post player that you can throw the ball on the block. Jasmine Walker was more of a stretch 4.
Approaching 4 minutes to go. Big second and third quarters for Baylor to bust this thing wide open. And a rough outing for the second game in a row for Iowa State.
19 boards for Queen Egbo.
It's a new career high for her. Looks like they're going to get Alyssa Smith with the push off there. Hey, Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus is a must-have, folks. And check out the Our Time Baylor basketball documentary. It's now streaming every Thursday. Go all access with Baylor men's and women's hoops for a behind-the-scenes look. This week's episode is streaming now, so sign up today at espnplus.com/Big12Now. We'll have a lot to talk about after this episode.
I mean, look at the defensive effort by Baylor. They're on the catch, high hands, moving their feet, doing everything they can to keep Iowa State out of the paint. And then when they get to the paint, they've been able to make a defensive stop.
I mean, they've held them to half of their usual 3-point total. Overall from the field, if they hadn't have just shot 28% against Texas, this would be a new season low today. Just 32% from the floor for Iowa State.
Well, it's not been a good week, that's for sure. But you know what? It's fixable, and I would expect them to be right back at it on the next game. Shooting threes and making Hilton magic.
And with Oklahoma's loss, Debbie, that's 5 teams now in the conference with 2 losses, all tied for that top spot. It's great. Rough day today for Oklahoma, but Boomer's been having a good year under Jenny Branchick, first-year head coach. Obviously, K-State with Aoka Lee today, dropping the NCAA D1 record 61 points. She's got them doing some special things and has added her name to the short list of Player of the Year candidates.
Well, I think Nikki Collins has got to be pleased with her team. Stepped back by Aubrey Jones. I think Nikki's got to be pleased. I mean, I'm telling you, they had it going by the third quarter. Even that goes in. I mean, come on.
Even Andrews gave that one a look. Hey,
might as well.
"12 triples. Donarski, no. Well, you talk about the spacing, though, with this Baylor team. You even drew it up on the defensive end, how with rim protectors, these guards can stay outside to defend against the three, or on the other side, they can create a lot of space for these guards to shoot the three.
You don't need to overhelp, that's for sure. And I don't think Baylor overhelped at all. I thought their game plan defensively was outstanding. And Nikki Collin, I like to see the game through an offensive lens. I believe she does too. However, her team defensively, you got to stay home on shooters. And they didn't give Iowa State any transition threes. I didn't see a lot of skips. I didn't see a lot of inside out, maybe a couple of times, but that's why they've been one of the best three-point shooting teams in the history of our game.
Sarah Andrews done for the day. She hit 4 threes this afternoon, scored 18. She's one of the more improved players in the Big 12 Conference, from a 4-point-per-game scorer to close to 12 a game now. Out of MacArthur High School, legendary home of the likes of Odyssey Sims and Alexis Jones. Familiar names in these parts. Out of Irving, Texas. Owens, one weave too many. Final 2 minutes. An impressive outing for the Baylor Bears. Really won this with every facet.
They really did. I mean, it was a total team effort.
Three's good from McGraw. Owens may have gotten injured on the play, so Andrews will actually check back in.
You could feel a lot of excitement in the building when they made their run in that second quarter. I mean, the place really got excited about the product on the floor. And you know, I always say product is the narrative. Put a good product out there and people will come, and then the administration will build around you. You got to win, though.
Egbo scores inside. Yeah, the Farrell Center has been so good to both the men's and women's programs. They do have a new home on the way. Anticipating breaking ground later this year, and then hope to be playing in the new place just down the street here in 2024. And it will be one of the toughest tickets in town. Just short of breakfast down at Magnolia, probably. Nikki Collin and Baylor real excited about the new arena that's coming this way. "26 assists for Baylor, a new season high on their 32 baskets. High assist percentage. 4 players in double figures, led by Lewis with 24. 20 rebounds and 14 points for Queen Egbo today. And back to the drawing board for Iowa State. After back-to-back losses, they will have Kansas, Texas Tech, and Kansas State their next 3 games. So they'll be seeing Ioka Lee in the near future. Egbo.
What a win for Baylor. A convincing effort, both ends of the floor. Tough week for Iowa State. Back-to-back losses for a top 10 team. Life in the Big 12. There you go. It's not easy. There's a competitive race in the Big 12.
Conference looking very deep. And the final 87-61 Bears over Cyclones.